Allow the book to open in your hands. Instead of words, you see images. You begin to experience this viscerally from your own perspective. Looking through a window into another reality, you see yourself in this abundant timeline. Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott, and I'm incredibly excited today for you to experience the Akashic Timeline selection. We will choose your most abundant reality stream through this activation. Just close your eyes for a moment and imagine you could sense the presence of someone standing behind you. Someone who feels familiar yet different. When you turn around, you see yourself, but this version of you carries an energy that makes your heart skip. Their posture speaks of confidence earned through making bold choices. Their smile holds the satisfaction of someone who never let fear choose their path. Their eyes shine with the peace that comes from knowing that abundance is their natural companion. This other you exists in the Akashic Records, that vast field of consciousness where every choice ever made or unmade creates its own thread of reality. And today, we will journey into this sacred space, not as a tourist, but as a treasure hunter seeking the golden thread of your most abundant timeline. Your consciousness already knows how to sense into other realities. You do it every time you imagine how your life might be different, every time you wonder what if, every time you feel homesick for a place you've never been. That pull you feel towards certain paths, that inexplicable knowing that something better awaits, these are your natural abilities to sense the threads of alternate timelines. Right now, dozens of different versions of your life are playing out in parallel streams of reality. In one, you're the person who started that business you dreamed about in your 20s. In another, you moved to that city where opportunities seemed to beckon. In yet another, you said yes when the mentor offered to guide you down a path you thought was too good to be true. These aren't fantasies. They are as real as the life you're living now, just flowing along different streams in the river of infinite possibility. Your consciousness can learn to sense these streams like a divining rod senses water underground. The skill is already within you. We're simply learning to trust what you feel. There's a particular alignment to abundant timelines. A lightness, an expansiveness, a sense of flow rather than struggle. When you tune into these threads, you feel your shoulders relax. Your breathing deepens, your heart opens. Your body knows the difference between the frequency of limitation and the frequency of abundance, even when your mind hasn't learned to trust what it senses. A client of mine discovered this when she noticed that certain career thoughts made her feel energized while others made her feel heavy. She began following the energized feelings and found herself moving toward opportunities that seemed to appear just for her. The skill wasn't mystical. It was simply learning to read the subtle signals her consciousness was already receiving. Deep within your consciousness lives what the ancient traditions called the record keeper. That part of you that maintains connection to all versions of your existence across time and space. This isn't a separate entity, but rather your soul's natural function of staying connected to the wholeness of who you are beyond any single timeline. Your record keeper has been watching your abundant self make different choices, accumulate different experiences, develop different relationships with money and opportunity. It holds the memory of every timeline where you choose expansion over contraction, possibility over safety, trust over fear. It remembers the feelings of financial flow, the experience of being deeply valued for your gifts, the satisfaction of abundance serving both your needs and your desire to contribute. When you quiet your analytical mind and drop into the deeper waters of your consciousness, You can feel your record keeper stirring with recognition. It's been waiting for you to remember that limitation is just one story among many that you could be living. It holds the keys to every door you thought was permanently locked. The record keeper speaks through felt senses rather than words, a sudden warmth in your chest when you consider a particular path, a sense of rightness that settles in your bones when you imagine a certain future, an inexplicable excitement that bubbles up when you contemplate possibilities that your practical mind dismisses as unrealistic. Trust these sensations. They are your record keeper showing you the threads that lead toward abundance, pointing you toward the streams where your prosperity flows most naturally. Your logical mind may not understand how to read these signals, but your deeper wisdom recognizes them as the language of possibility itself. In the space between sleeping and waking, between breathing in and breathing out, between one thought and the next, you can sense into the moments when your abundant self made the choices that created their prosperity. These weren't necessarily dramatic decisions. Often they were quiet moments of courage, small acts of trust, simple choices to follow excitement rather than obligation. You sensed the morning when they decided to invest in themselves despite having no guarantee of return. Feel the texture of that decision, the flutter of fear mixed with the deeper current of knowing that felt like coming home to themselves. Notice how that choice rippled forward, creating opportunities that could never have existed without that initial leap of faith. There's the afternoon when they chose to have the conversation they'd been avoiding, asking for the raise, proposing the partnership, sharing the idea that seemed too bold, putting on an event that they've been avoiding, feeling how their heart raced, how their palms grew damp, how their voice shook slightly as they spoke their truth. Yet underneath the nervousness, sense the bedrock certainty that they deserve to be heard, valued, compensated for their gifts. You can almost touch the evening when they walked away from something that looked secure but felt deadening to their spirit. Feel the terror of releasing the known for the unknown. The way their practical mind screamed warnings while their soul sang with relief. Watch how that ending became the beginning of everything their heart had been secretly preparing for. These choice points aren't historical events locked in the past. They exist in the eternal now of the Akashic dimension. Your consciousness can step into the energy of these decisions. Feel what it's like to choose from abundance rather than scarcity, from trust rather than fear, from expansion rather than contraction. Abundant timelines speak their own language, not words, but feelings, sensations, and knowings that bypass the analytical mind completely. When you tune into a prosperous stream of reality, your body responds before your thoughts can interfere. Your breathing shifts, becoming deeper and more relaxed. Your heart rate slows into a rhythm of confidence rather than anxiety. Your muscles release tension you didn't even know you were holding. This language includes a particular quality of excitement, not the jittery nervousness of forcing something to happen, but the deep satisfaction of aligning with what wants to emerge naturally. It's the difference between pushing a heavy door and discovering it was meant to be pulled. Abundant timelines feel like doors that open easily when approached with the right touch. There's also a signature of rightness that permeates prosperous realities. When you sense into these streams, something in your chest says yes, before your mind has time to analyze why. Your soul recognizes the frequency of abundance the way your body recognizes the frequency of health. Not through thinking, but through immediate felt knowing. The language includes natural generosity, both in giving and receiving. Abundant timelines flow with the rhythm of circulation rather than the clenching of hoarding. You can sense the ease with which your prosperous self shares resources, time, and energy because they operate from overflow rather than depletion. A businessman learned this language when he started paying attention to which opportunities made him feel expansive versus which ones made him feel contracted. The expansive feelings led to partnerships that tripled his income within 2 years, while the contracted feelings, when he ignored them, always led to complications and disappointment. The most profound moment comes when you sense that you can actually step into the stream of your abundant timeline, not through force or manipulation, but through a quality of surrender, letting yourself be carried by currents that have been flowing toward prosperity all along. This stepping in happens through your imagination, but imagination is far more powerful than most people realize. When you imagine vividly enough, your nervous system responds as if the experience is real. Your brain begins rewiring itself to match the new reality. Your energy field shifts to broadcast the frequency of the timeline you've entered. As you sense yourself sliding into the streams of abundance, notice how differently everything feels. Problems that seemed insurmountable from your previous perspective now appear as interesting puzzles with creative solutions. Opportunities that were invisible before suddenly become obvious. People who could help your dreams unfold begin appearing in your awareness as if summoned by your shift in frequency. Your abundant timeline includes a completely different relationship with time. Instead of feeling rushed or behind, you sense the perfect timing of everything. Instead of forcing outcomes on your preferred schedule, you flow with the natural rhythm of manifestation. This shift in time perception actually accelerates your results because you're working with universal timing rather than against it. The stepping in process includes releasing your grip on how things are supposed to work. Your abundant self operates from a much more flexible and creative understanding of how prosperity flows. They receive abundance through channels your limited thinking never considered possible, from sources your practical mind would have dismissed as unrealistic. Once you've sensed into your abundant timeline, you now begin to understand that wealth consciousness operates like a magnetic field. It doesn't chase or grasp or force, it simply draws to itself everything that matches its frequency. Your prosperous self has learned to maintain this magnetic state through their beliefs, emotions, and daily choices. This magnetic field includes complete worthiness without the need to prove or earn it. Your abundant self operates from the knowing that they deserve prosperity simply because they exist, because they have gifts to share, because their happiness and security serve the greater good. This worthiness is not arrogant, it's humble recognition of their place in the web of universal abundance. The magnetism also includes prosperity vision, the ability to see potential where others see problems, to recognize value where others see waste, to spot opportunities while others focus on obstacles. This vision is not just positive thinking, it's expanded perception that comes from operating at the frequency of abundance rather than scarcity. Your wealthy consciousness includes natural collaborations rather than competition. Your abundant self builds success through partnership, mutual support, and shared prosperity because they understand that abundance multiplies when shared rather than diminishes. This collaborative spirit attracts more opportunities because people want to work with someone who creates win-win scenarios. The magnetic field operates through authenticity rather than strategy. Your prosperous self attracts abundance by being completely themselves rather than trying to be what they think wealth requires. This authenticity is magnetic because it's rare in a world that most people are performing roles they think will lead to success. The deepest gift of sensing into your abundant timeline is remembering that prosperity is your natural state. Limitation was learned. Abundance is inherent. Scarcity was programmed. Wealth consciousness is your birthright. Financial struggle was inherited. Financial flow is your authentic nature. This remembering happens not through the mind, but through the body, the heart, the soul. Your cells remember abundance because they're made from the same creative force that designed galaxies and ecosystems with infinite creativity and resources. Your heart remembers wealth because love itself is the ultimate abundance, unlimited, renewable, expanding through sharing. As you remember, you feel something shifting at the core of your being now in this moment. The person who worried about money begins to feel like a costume you wore for a while but can now remove. The identity built around limitation starts dissolving like ice in warm water. What remains is your essential nature, naturally abundant, creatively unlimited, magnetically attractive to prosperity. This remembering includes compassion for the version of yourself that forgot. You understand now that the forgetting served a purpose. It showed you what you don't want so you could choose what you do want with greater clarity. The struggle taught you to value ease. The scarcity helped you appreciate abundance. The limitation prepared you to handle unlimited wealth with wisdom and grace. An entrepreneur experienced this remembering during a financial crisis that threatened to destroy her business. Instead of panic, she suddenly felt profound calm as she remembered that her abundant self had navigated challenges like this before. Within hours, solutions began appearing that not only saved her business but expanded it beyond what she previously thought possible. The remembering is permanent because it's based on truth rather than belief. You can't unknow what you experienced in the depth of your being. I want you with intention to begin sensing into this abundant timeline as you interact with the Akashic through my voice in this frequency. Begin to feel it in your heart, in your field, in your emotions, and in your mind. Once you've sensed into your abundant timeline and remember your natural prosperity, everything changes, not through effort but through alignment. You begin making choices from the consciousness of your wealthy self rather than your limited self. You respond to opportunities through abundance awareness rather than scarcity programming. Living from the abundant stream means trusting the guidance that comes through your body's wisdom rather than your mind's fears. When an opportunity makes your heart sing and your spirit soar, you say yes, even if your logical mind lists dozens of reasons why it might not work. When a path feels heavy and constraining despite looking secure, you find the courage to choose expansion over safety. Your daily rhythms now shift to match those of your prosperous self. You work from inspiration rather than obligation. You rest when your body asks for rest instead of pushing through exhaustion. You invest in experiences and relationships that nourish your soul because you understand that joy is the ultimate attractor of abundance. The abundant stream includes natural patience mixed with inspired action. You plant seeds enthusiastically without demanding immediate harvest. You tend your dreams with loving care while trusting divine timing for their manifestation. This balance between effort and surrender actually accelerates results because you're working with the natural flow of creation rather than against it. Living from this stream also means becoming a beneficial presence in the global flow of abundance. Your prosperity serves others as well as yourself. Your wealth creates opportunities for people around you. Your abundance demonstrates to others that financial freedom is possible, giving them permission to access their own prosperous timelines. Your relationship with the Akashic Records and your abundant timeline becomes an eternal dance. Sometimes stepping into the stream of prosperity, sometimes stepping back to integrate new levels of wealth consciousness. Always maintaining connection to the vastness of who you are across all realities. This dance includes regular sensing sessions where you check in with your abundant self, asking for guidance about opportunities, decisions, and directions. Your prosperous timeline becomes a trusted advisor you can consult whenever you need clarity about your financial path. The dance also includes moments of teaching others how to sense into their own abundant timelines. Your experience becomes a bridge that helps others remember their own natural prosperity. You discover that sharing this wisdom multiplies your own abundance because teaching is a form of giving and giving creates circulation. As you continue dancing between timelines, in this moment, you realize that the Akashic Records aren't separate from your everyday life. They are the deeper dimension of your reality that's always present beneath the surface of ordinary experience. There's no initiation, no special technique that you need to access it. It's always available, deeply embedded within your subconscious mind. You can access it through your imagination by simply closing your eyes, asking the Akashic a question, and it will respond. It is conscious now. Your abundant timeline is not somewhere else. It's here now, accessible through the quality of consciousness you bring to each moment. The eternal dance includes gratitude for all timelines. Even those where limitation taught you valuable lessons, you understand now that every stream of reality contributed to your ability to choose abundance consciously rather than unconsciously. Every experienced scarcity made your appreciation of prosperity more profound. Now I want you to take 3 deep breaths. Close your eyes naturally for a moment. Feel your body relax more completely with each exhale. Breathing in slowly and then breathing out. Just allow yourself to settle. You let go of any tension in your body. Now you see yourself standing in a vast library that seems to stretch infinitely in all directions. The ceiling disappears into soft golden light. Countless books line the shelves, each one glowing with its own gentle radiance. This is a symbolic interpretation of the Akashic Records utilized by your consciousness. This is the cosmic library of all possibilities. Some people see it as a video store. Some people find themselves tuned into a vast computer. Most people see it as a library, but whatever your consciousness brings you to, this is how you are meant to interface with the Akashic Records. Feel the peace of this sacred space settling around you. You belong here. Your consciousness naturally knows how to navigate these infinite halls of possibility. Now sense that you're being gently guided toward a particular section. Your feet move without effort across the smooth floor as you're drawn toward the shelves that hold your timelines. All the different versions of your life that exist in the field of infinite possibility. As you approach, one book begins to glow more brightly than the others. This is the record of your most abundant timeline. Feel the warmth radiating from its cover as you reach out and gently lift it from the shelf. The moment your hands touch this book, you feel a surge of recognition. This is your story, written from abundance rather than limitation, from trust rather than fear, from expansion rather than contraction. Allow the book to open in your hands. Instead of words, you see images. You begin to experience this viscerally from your own perspective. Looking through a window into another reality, you see yourself in this abundant timeline. You notice how you carry yourself differently? Now you begin to see visions of this timeline. I'm giving you time to access this. Simply explore the many vistas of your abundant timeline now. Watch your abundant self. Notice how they approach opportunities. Notice the amazing experiences they have, the friendships, the interactions. Observe how they make decisions. Really sense what it would be like to inhabit this reality. Feel the confidence flowing through this version of yourself. Feel your deep knowing that prosperity is your natural state. You are not observing anymore. You're allowing this timeline to move through you, to shift your own energies. Take a moment to absorb the frequency of this timeline. Let it settle into your consciousness like a new song that you'll remember long after the music ends. Allow yourself to merge with the frequency of this timeline in this moment. See your wealthiest self, living the most opulent and luxurious life you can imagine, free to do what you want. Large sums of money come to you easily and quickly. You have abundance in all things, friendships, joy, happiness, health. This is the very best life that you've ever lived in any timeline. Open yourself to it and feel it as viscerally as you can within your body. When you're ready, gently close the book. But know that you can return to this vision anytime you need to remember who you really are beneath all the programming about limitation. This is what you are meant to be. Feel yourself back in the infinite library, carrying the memory and frequency of your abundant timeline within your heart. Take 3 deep breaths and allow your eyes to open, bringing you back into your everyday reality. This has shifted you. This discussion has activated you. You have now integrated with these energies. You have downloaded the essence of this timeline. And from this point forward, you find yourself shifting completely. A new matrix of being has entered into your consciousness. And as you walk away from listening to this, you have accessed your greatest timeline, your abundant timeline, something I talk a lot about on this channel. And the reason is that this is a tangible thing that exists. And if you can just have even a few minutes of exposure to it, you begin to align to it. It begins to become so tangible and real that you have miracles happening in your life. That's all I ever wanted for you, is to find that happiness, that joy, that prosperity that is your birthright. So walk away from this knowing that it is done. And you can come back to this anytime to have that feeling, to find yourself aligning with your most abundant timeline. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. And welcome to The Reality Revolution.